bit of chat about that. We'll also have a little bit of a chat about what he does for a living, where he comes from, why he streams, and all that kind of jazz. So if you're interested, please stick around, hang out. During the time, obviously, we will not have alerts on, but please feel free to drop comments. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat, and we'll answer them during the stream. And yeah, please enjoy. Please enjoy. So without further ado, we'll bring in Ferozuks and we'll have a good chat. Let's do it. Let's do it. Alrighty. Let's get it done. Can you hear me, good sir?
How are we doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
Not too bad.
Just gonna get my
final chat when I can actually speak back.
Yeah, awesome. All right, got you up here.
A little bit weird sitting here on my own, just staring at myself for a while.
I know. The thing with the camera, obviously, is that because I'm streaming, we only have one camera. So
I've got the stream up on my PC as well as the phone normally, because I tab about 14, 15 different people at a time.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
I can't handle all that noise on my PC.
It's always so
coming
crazy.
At me and people, I have my phone ready to talk to people. So if I'm in your chat talking, you know that I've made that effort to come to it on my phone to make sure I can speak to you.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I appreciate it.
But the PC's always about 5-10 seconds behind.
Yeah, mad.
So you're sitting there looking at it like, is it starting yet? Is something happening?
No, that's all good. That's great.
And I'm starting to look at your chair.
Yeah. I like your mug. That's cool.
Yeah, it was a Father's Day gift off my daughter.
How awesome. All right. Well, dude, thanks for doing this today. I appreciate it. And you, I'm sure you've watched a few of the podcasts and seen how we do things and like what we chat about and stuff. And it's pretty much just a free flowing conversation, whatever we want to talk about. I can go on weird tangents sometimes, but I try to always start with asking you a bit about yourself, like what why you stream and like what brought you about to become a streamer, and also if I don't know, are you happy to be called Zooks? Or how do you go about it?
Well, the name came about. It's Ferozuks as in Zero Fox.
Yeah, I understand that.
It came about. People call me Fero, and I've no problem with that.
Yeah,
I pretty much answer to anything these days.
Yeah.
I've been called some random fucking names.
I can imagine. Dude, you always see whenever I raid someone, they always call me Dad Zilla. So I love, you know what? I kind of like it. It kind of has a good ring to it, like even though like I'm way, way away from a dad, but I'm just, it's funny that everyone, people read it differently. It could be rugged, it could be Zilla, it could be Dad Zilla. Like, it depends on what people know me or not.
People actually know the word rugged.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind it, so it's good.
Like, there's a lot of people speak English around the world, but none of them seem to understand the word rugged when you come in.
I know. I don't get that, hey. And Australians always read Dadzilla. I don't know why that is. But every single time I raid like an Australian channel, they read Dadzilla. It's like they completely miss the rugged part and just go to Dadzilla. I don't understand how or why, but maybe Australians just read things halfway through, or they abbreviate everything. So they just kind of like skip the first part and just go with whatever they read at the end. It's kind of really funny though.
I had a few of that because obviously I've been doing the lives over on Instagram for, I started it January 2020. But before that, I was doing podcasts over in America and stuff on Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah.
And with the names on Instagram, some of them can be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, because it's all compressed together, you don't put spaces in between or anything like that. So you try and read some of the names, and it's like, the fuck is that?
some of the names, yeah.
Right up close. So basically, all people see is like this part of my face as I'm trying to read it.
You know the thing that I always say to a lot of people who are streamers or people who want to be found on the internet: keep your name simple. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be anything massive. Like if your name is something like something really vulgar or something really rude, like not yours isn't. It's a play on words. But what I'm saying is if it is, no one's ever going to want to find you. Do you know what I mean? Whereas and the other thing is if you have too many numbers or letters or things in different places, like some people will have like 0 as their name, right? For example, and then it'll be O's 0 O 0 O 0 or something like that, like big little capitals kind of thing. Then no one's ever going to find you because they're not going to be able to spell it. Like I don't know.
No, it's like I made my partner's account and she wanted pumpkin spice, nothing nice.
Yeah.
Problem was that was already taken.
Yeah.
So I had to put a 1 as the I. And instantly she was pissed at that because she's got kind of OCD about the things like that. So I'm like, well, if you want that name, that's what you've got to have.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? If anyone ever searches for it, they'll find the other person.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's got to be simple. It's got to be simple because, like, especially even when you're sending out a raid to someone and you're trying to type in their name. It's like if you don't copy and paste it, half the time you send the raid to the wrong person because sometimes their names are a little bit different. Like I've done the same thing where
That's kind of why I was glad I could change my name before I started streaming.
Yeah. What was it before?
Because my old PlayStation name was Sir_Potato_Head. And it was a running joke with a family member. Or actually not my sister's partner. He'd been playing Call of Duty World at War while I was round at their house.
Yeah.
And he was breaking some Americans. And he's like, there's a little glitch in the game. Mr. Potato Head's over there sniping. Like, Mr. Potato Head, he's sniping. Come here, look in the bush. And he got them all to walk over to this bush to try and find the Mr. Potato Head that was sniping. And then shot them all. So later on that night, I went home and made the account Sir Potato Head, went into his game and sniped him.
So it all started with a troll and it all ended with one. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, it started out as that. That was in 2009.
Yeah.
And they finally let me change my name last year.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah.
I can maybe something other than Sir Potato Head.
Just got to try something different. Mine came from mine was self-generated through an Xbox name. So, and it was my first self-generated Xbox name, and I got my Xbox when I was about 12 years old, and I've had the same name ever since.
So you don't believe you're rugged then?
I don't know. You tell me. It's I don't know whether it's suitable or not, but you know what? I've stuck with it, and it's not a terrible name. I don't mind it.
It works.
It does. It does.
As I said, it's like when we first met, it was through you doing your little hype.
Yeah. Yeah.
And instantly I vibed with that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look,
especially the person that you went to because he'd been such a great supporter of me in my journey towards becoming a streamer.
Mm.
And I think I'd been around on Twitch for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Before I even started contemplating streaming.
Yeah.
And then it came around to sort of August time. And I was really starting to try and find out how much it would cost for a PC, how much it would cost for the capture card.
Not a cheap hobby. Not a cheap hobby.
I realised it was too much.
Mm.
We were just chatting away and he says, just do it. Go on your PlayStation, stream from there. Everybody else has started out that way.
Yeah.
They start out on the console, they build themselves up.
Correct.
Just go for it. And I don't know whether you know about the seasonal sports streams that I organised at the time, but what I was doing, I was already planning to do, I think it was at the time, it was 3 hours of lives over on Instagram.
Yep.
On Christmas Day. And a lot of the live readers were doing the 3 hours plus of lives, then sending everyone who was in there watching to the next one.
Yeah,
because people are alone on Christmas and they didn't want them to be alone.
Yeah, I understand.
So I took that idea and thought, this would be great to bring to Twitch. to bring to the gaming community, which I know full well has a lot of people that are alone.
Yeah.
And I didn't just bring it over to Twitch, I sent it to YouTube as well, which was a whole different story and a whole mess because they don't have the raid option.
No, yeah.
But yeah, within, I think it was 2 weeks before Christmas, I set up and organised seasonal support streams for Twitch and YouTube together. A lot of streamers that I'd really just met got behind it. We ended up covering 24 hours from 7 a.m. UK time to 7 a.m. the day after.
Wow.
And it was a great success. Like, that was my first ever stream. I did 2 hours in the morning, 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. And then straight from 9 a.m., I went to Instagram and I ended up doing 7 hours of lives over on Instagram that day.
You just loved it.
And I was sat there and people were just coming in and they're like, they didn't even want to really hear the poetry or watch the games or anything like that we were doing. They just didn't want to be alone.
Yeah.
They wanted that safe space to be with somebody else on Christmas Day. And it's heartbreaking to know that so many people are in that situation.
Yeah, it's really common, isn't it?
Like, I'm in that situation on a Christmas Day because I'm not allowed my daughter on Christmas Day. It's just, it's something that my ex decided for me.
Yeah, okay.
He's like, you can have her on New Year's and New Year's Day and then keep her for the week after it until she goes back to school. But I'm having her every Christmas because it's her brother's birthday the day after.
Yeah, okay.
Now, I can't really argue with that at the same time as I want to. So
yeah, well, look, it's a tough spot, but at the same time, you want what's best for your kids. Yeah, like you know, it's
yeah.
But I mean, look, obviously, not being able to spend Christmas with them would be tough for you.
Well, you see, we see it as more special now because it's only me and her on New Year's Day. That's our Christmas. It's
your day together.
Only we are doing that day as far as she's concerned. I know there's other fathers out there doing the same and other mothers out there doing the same, but as far as my daughter-in-law's, it's just me and her, and Santa comes to visit us, and us alone, just as a special thing. And you know, she's 8-year-old. She still believes in all that. She still thinks it's crazy special, and I love that about it.
Yeah, you keep that going for as long as you can because that's a bonding thing you can have with her as well too.
Well, now she's 8-year-old, and now she's actually turning around and saying, "Dad, when I become a streamer, I'm going to need your help." Yeah, sweetheart, you've got a few years behind you before that can happen. You probably change your mind, but if you want to, then I'm willing to help. But yeah, but when I do it, I'm going to need your help. You're going to need to help me sort out how to Twitch.
It's like idolistic inspiration, you know. Like she just like sees you do it, and she's like sees how much fun or how enjoyable it is for you, and goes, "I want to do that." Have you?
I've not had her physically on it with the camera, but she's been playing on Fortnite with me from the other room.
Oh, okay.
Because she like Save the World.
Okay, yep.
And I know on Save the World, if I go in and we have a private party, it's just me and her, and she's safe from all the trolls on the internet.
Yeah, I understand.
Which, at such a young age, I'd really like to keep her away from them trolls as long as possible.
I agree.
Because I was gaming at that age, and yeah, I understand what it's like when you're sat there at a PC playing Soldier of Fortune, and you've got grown men screaming at you.
Yeah, it's so true. Right? And you know, this goes the same way. Like sometimes when I play Warzone and I kill someone, it's a little kid and they start screaming. I'm just like, I feel like I bullied someone, but like at the same time, it's just a game, you know.
Yeah, at that point, I'm not actually that bothered because they shouldn't be playing it. The game's an 18 game.
Yeah, exactly.
And I knew the same when I was playing Soldier of Fortune back in the day. Playing Unreal tournaments and things like that, and you're like, it says 18 there, but
don't tell mum. That's it, you know.
And back then, obviously, no one did know because you weren't always over the mic.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. It's true. No, it's funny though, because like me, I'm not a dad per se myself, but what I'm saying is that keep kids as innocent as you can for as long as you can, especially in a world with internet, because you can only shield them for so long until they go to school, and then they learn everything anyway. So you've got to try and like, you know,
Well, yeah,
shield them from it as
she's
much as
learning some of
possible,
that.
so they can stay as innocent as they can and enjoy their childhood without being interrupted with all the other crap going on in the world.
She's definitely learning some of that at school already, and that's only primary school.
Yeah.
High schools where it's gonna shit's really gonna hit the fan.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to
But
control that, unfortunately. Especially with like everyone has a mobile phone now, and everyone has everything else. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be tough.
well, yeah, she's got her own mobile and everything as well already. But it's like I've got kind of some control over what she downloads on it
Yeah,
through Google Family Link. So if she's trying to download games that I know are dodgy
yeah.
and that I've reviewed in the past that say that they're being used by people that they shouldn't be being used by, I can make sure and just say deny that. And when she messages me and says, "Why can't I have my game?" I'm like, "There's bad people on it. Just stay away." Or a game made for a kid that's asking for location data. I really don't understand that.
Yeah. No, that's
Like
well, you know what that
Pokemon Go,
is.
you're walking around and you try and catch things, so it needs your GPS. But
Yeah.
the game that she tried downloading the other day is one where you sit in your room and you play it. So why does it need to know the location?
Well, what it is it's so it can shoot off marketing to you. That's what it
Yeah.
is. So it's a marketing tool. So if it knows your demographic, it knows your demographic, it knows where you are, and knows what you're doing. It can send you the correct marketing tools. That's what it is. It's all about money. It always is. Everything is about money.
Oh,
Like the whole world
everything.
revolves around the dollar. Like there's no avoiding it. There's no changing it. That's just the way we live, and we just have to accept it.
It's something that I believe is actually the bane of all evil in this world is money.
Yeah. Well, it corrupts, but it also rewards. So at the same. Yeah. Well, what is it when it comes to human nature, right? And let's get a little bit weird about it. When it comes to human nature, what is the one thing that drives people? It drives people are driven by desires, and the people are driven by the pheromones in their brains, right? So that's why people exercise. That's why people drink. That's why people play games. They get all that pheromones from success, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, this is the thing, though. This is the reason people do things because it makes them feel good, right? And earning money is one of the other things like that has been introduced to us. That is a way to reward yourself, because the more money you have, the easier your life is. The more you can have, the more things you can buy. The more successful you look. Like it's an endorphin thing for you too. So
it's changing that same way with things like social media now, with the likes and the double taps on Insta and things like that. It's all about that endorphin release.
It's
It's
tapping the happy button in your brain every time. It's
you think of it go down to things as simple as in gaming, hackers.
Yeah.
Hackers are people that couldn't play the game without them. So they buy hacks so that they can play the game and feel good because they think that they're good because they've got these hacks.
Yeah.
They're not good. They've got no skill whatsoever.
Correct.
But they're winning games.
Exactly. And it makes them feel good because they get that little victory at the end.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same as gambling. Like it's the same as anything. Like when you play a slot machine or a poker machine or whatever you might call it, and you press that button, and that noise, the noise it makes when you win is the noise you associate with money, right? It's the noise you associate with victory. It's the same noise that you get in games. When you win a game, you get a noise, right? It's the same noise you get when you achieve something in life, you get a noise. Like there's always a noise that's like it's association with advertising, it's association with your brain to say you've done the right thing and you've won and you're victorious, and it makes you feel good, and that clicks that other thing in your brain again. And that's how they get you. It's like an addiction, isn't it? Like
psychological training.
Yeah.
Conditioning.
That's what it is. And it's amazing, but it's also fucking scary. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because no one can escape it. No one, not one of us can escape that noise that we all crave. Do you know what I mean? Like
every single one of those elaborate.
in a different shape or form, we might just be like chasing the fucking the piece of cheese at the end of the tunnel forever. And then we die. Like there's no in between. It's like chase the cheese, never catch the cheese, die. Like it's just like when people say I've made it, they've never made it because they want more. Like you see all these people with these billions and billions of dollars, right? Like you know the Jeff Bezos of the world. You see them with all these billions and billions of dollars. You think that guy must be living the best life. He's not. Because he's still making more money. He's trying to big better. Like he's trying to go to space. He's trying to do all this shit. Like he's trying to, you know, nothing is fulfilling for him because of the amount of money he has. Nothing will ever satisfy the guy. So he'll have to just keep building outwards until he touches the edges. Do you know what I mean? And then
the thing that will actually fulfill people is community.
Correct.
People don't realise it, and that's another reason why as soon as I came in and saw that you were helping everybody in your community, I'm like, I'm staying here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a place that I can definitely come in every day and know that every single person's here for the right reason.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I do this, is because everybody who has come in here sees that. Do you know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
including yourself, but every single person that comes in here can see that everyone in here wants to be part of the community together, you know, and I really, really strive to keep that. You know what I mean? Like I want that for everyone.
Well, that's why I left Instagram. I mean, my account's still on there and everything, but I stopped doing the lives over there because people were simply coming in just to chase clout for themselves.
Correct.
It's, oh, can you read my stuff? Can you read my stuff? Can you read my stuff over and over again? And I'm trying to have a discussion about mental health and like there's people in my chat talking about how they're feeling, and I'm, please read my poem now. I've got to go soon. I'm like, just wait your fucking turn.
Yeah.
This isn't about you. Right now, I'm dealing with this one person that's told me they're having a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to that one person. You will be next. Wait your fucking turn.
Well, there's always a way.
I want to help every single one of you.
Yeah.
But I can't help you all if you're all just throwing shit at me.
Correct. It's not productive.
Saying, do it now, do it now, do it now.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you had people turning around saying, like, oh, supporting people in that way when you don't have the qualifications is actually negative for them. Sorry, but it's not. I've helped so many people over the fucking years because I was there to listen when the system wasn't.
Correct.
And the fact that the system wasn't there angered me enough to, at 15-year-old, start doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
I set up a helpline online, and over the course of 8 years, I had over 10,000 people come to me because they weren't getting that support off the system.
Yeah.
Now, I'll never turn around and say stay away from the system, because the system can work for you. It's just you've got to have that patience to be able to get into it.
Yeah.
The waiting list over here is anywhere between 6 months to 18 months for psychological help.
Yeah.
I asked for it when I got put in this wheelchair. And I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
And I've been in the wheelchair now for about 3.5 years. Because they just thought, well, he's never come back and asked to get, so he must be fine now. It's not so much that I'm fine, I came to terms with the change in my life on my own, because I realised that they weren't going to do anything. So if anybody was going to do anything, it had to be me.
Yeah. Yeah. And you.
So
I look, and that's sort of the reason where the way you described that to me when I first came into your stream is the reason that both I and Liz have absolutely made the effort to be there all the time, because every single time you were speaking, it was making sense to me, and the way you portrayed it to me, it was like you really meant it. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people say they help people, they try to help people, but they just, all they're doing is helping themselves. Whereas like you projected yourself to me and
given my last pennies to help people. I've put myself in danger for other people as well, and I'd do it all again.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? That's because you're a good person. And honestly, you can see it. Like, and that's why I respect you so much, dude.
What it's about for me, you know, it's about knowing that we're all fucking human.
Yeah, correct.
There's none of this, oh, he's better than me, or she's better than me, or I'm better than them. It's we're all the fucking same at the end of the day. We all
Yeah,
breathe the same air, we all bleed the same blood. If we can't support each other, what's the point in us being here?
exactly.
We're just going to destroy ourselves instead.
Exactly. And that's why, like, both in your channel and my channel, we always refer to our channels as not our channels, it's the community's channel. Okay. This is the Zilla Patch family. Do you know what I mean? This is the Zilla Patch community.
Yeah.
This is not my channel. Like, this is not, me trying to, monetize myself. This is every single little bit they give to me, I give back to them because they all deserve it, because without the community behind me, I have nothing. Okay. And I can't
Yeah.
share all of the words we're talking about right now with people who might need it if I don't have the numbers to do so. You know what I mean? So if I have the people in this community
Oh,
sharing the love with each other and supporting each other like they do in the Discord and like they do in life right now, like a lot of people in this chat right now are talking to each other on the phone right now, like or they're texting each
yeah.
other, or they're sharing photos with each other during what is a pretty hard period in life right now, and a lot of them need that support, and they didn't have it before they came to this channel, and now they do, and that's what
I
Twitch needs to
think
be
that
about.
pretty hard is a bit of an understatement of what this past 18 to 20 months has been.
Exactly, exactly.
This has been probably the single worst pandemic that the world has ever seen.
Yeah,
And short of the world wars and stuff like that, there's never been something so widespread that has lasted this long.
correct.
And the effect on mental health of being trapped in your own house is so understated. Like, I was trapped in this flat in the same room because obviously my bed's in the same room as my TV and everything because my daughter has the bedroom.
Yep.
And you're seeing the same four walls every day, not able to leave from January 2020 all the way till July the 19th, 2021.
Yeah.
And you forget what day it is.
Well, it doesn't matter, does it?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You completely forget about everything. You want any structure towards your life, it's gone.
Yeah.
You don't know whether you're coming or going any day. And these days where I was sat up for up to 36 hours,
Yeah.
just didn't know what to do with myself. I wasn't gaming so much up until the last couple of years because I couldn't grip controllers anymore. I've had to go out and buy a bigger controller to be able to hold it with
Yeah.
the pen. So it's like I didn't even have that outlet. So it was sitting watching TV, going over the same old shows that I already watched. So because you're watching it again, you're like, deja vu, something's happened. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember all this shit. Um,
Well, you know what it is like if
I
people don't
felt
have
like I was going insane.
yeah, if people don't have direction in their life, they become kind of lost. Just not just through the fact that that's an obvious thing to say, but people need drive. They need focus. They need something to move towards. They need something like you have a job and you go to work. You come home, you
Yeah,
make dinner, you go to bed. If you're just staying home all day and doing nothing, your life becomes quite empty, quite meaningless very quickly. And you actually, obviously, especially in the world of the internet and stuff, the world is not exactly like an amazing place if you're not looking at it through an amazing outlook. You know what I mean? Like if you're looking through anything through an outlook of depression or disappointment, you'll always be depressed or disappointed. It's like it's a mental state, right? And if you're sitting inside the
yeah.
four walls and you've got no structure to your life, of course you're going to be depressed. Of course you're going to be disappointed. You've got nothing to look forward to.
See, I did a lot of work on myself in the past when I did suffer from severe depression. And I started writing, as you know. I've been writing now since I was 17 years old. I've been published a couple of times in anthologies, things like that. And the little motto that stuck with me at the beginning was "Stars can't shine without darkness."
Hmm.
So the fact that I was suffering meant that when something good did come along, I'd notice it.
Yeah.
and I'd be more grateful for it. And that's what I wanted to bring to everyone still. Like, I'd shut down my helpline by this point. I was 23 years old when I shut it down. It became too much because I was doing a full-time job, going home and running the helpline. And I had no life outside of that.
Yeah.
And I tried to make it work for as long as I could, but there was so many people and only one of me.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
And I was working from, I think I was on the road at 5:30 every morning and getting home at 9 at night.
And then running your helpline.
From work. And then I was starting the helpline, and I was doing the helpline up until about 2 in the morning, then going to sleep for an hour, then waking up and getting ready for work again.
Crazy.
And I did that for, I did that length of working for the last 11 months that I was at the job before I got injured.
Yep.
And I was running the helpline while I was doing the other jobs before it as well, where I wasn't working as many hours, but the hours on the helpline were more.
Yeah.
It's crazy how burnt out you can become.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, this took me out completely for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I went through losing my job because of the disability, because the machine had fell on top of me. And then my dad sided with the company. He started telling the company I was fine. Oh, he'd be able to come work, don't worry about it. And then when he got home, he'd be like, well, if you don't come to work, I'm kicking you out.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of stuck in that rock and a hard place sort of thing, where I've either got to go to work or I'm going to become homeless. So I tried going to work, and then I injured myself even more. So my grandfather kind of came to my rescue and said, well, I need a carer. You need a place to live. Move in with me and help me look after myself. And, you know, I'll make sure you've got a roof over your head. And at the time, my granddad had cancer. So he was starting to become senile as well. So it was kind of a crazy fucking mix there.
There's a lot going on, bro. That's a lot going on at the same time.
Yeah, he was having a mix of like having to be structured with his medications and things like that and his meals, but at the same time not remembering that he'd done anything or had them and double dosing or eating too much.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, he owned his own company as a chef.
Right.
And he'd got to the point of senility that he was putting tins of baked beans in with tins of peas in water in the same pan and thinking that was going to turn out okay.
No.
Like, I want both of them on my plate, right? But you don't put both of them in the same pan.
Yeah.
But I want both of them on my plate. Like,
wow.
So I'd throw away what he had, but I wouldn't make him think that he'd done wrong. I'd turn around and say, right, well, you go take your time. I'll finish up what you've done.
Yeah.
Then I'd slide it into the bin, wash everything quick, start again. So he thought he actually cooked it correctly. Because if you did that, then his mental state's going to take more of a hit because he's thinking, I can't do anything anymore.
Yeah, I agree. So
I was doing all that, and the anger he had inside of him at the time, he was calling me an idiot every day. I can't do nothing. But it's literally because he had no control over his situation.
Yeah.
So you've got to take it on the chin. Like, he's got to get this anger out somewhere. He's got to get the frustrations at everything that's happened, because he had fucking, I think it was 3 or 4 businesses and a job on the side of that, and was bringing up 3 kids at home when he was younger. Then he retired at 65 and started getting ill.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Because he was out of routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had an heart attack that first year, and then everything started going downhill from there. And he was the strongest and kindest person that I ever knew, and that's kind of where my support of others came from. I remember he told me a story from when he was running his businesses, I told quite a few of them, but he used to run a mobile shop where he'd drive round to houses.
Yep.
And they'd come aboard and they'd be buying things off him. And he was going around to the estates where people weren't as well off.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd see the kids that were starving and the mum and dads that were starving, and he'd be like, here's a care package. Pay me back when you've got the money in the future, and things like that. And he repeatedly did this. And there was still people coming back paying him till the day he died.
Yeah, wow.
Just a little bit at a time, £5 here, £5 there. And the families remembered. The kids took on the payments that the parents were paying, and he'd be like, no, it's fine, don't worry about it, I've got my money, I'm fine with it. And they're like, no, we need you to take it, we don't feel right just accepting that you've given us this stuff that helped us live. And he wasn't the only one. My other grandfather was very similar in the way that he was. It's like I watched these two men as I was younger and thought, there is nobody greater than these. This is the sign of humanity that I need to see in this world, because it was already starting to become that community wasn't there.
Yeah.
You didn't talk to your neighbours. You didn't go around and make sure the old lady was okay next door or anything like that at this point.
No.
You just left everyone to their own world. And I'd watched these two doing exactly the opposite of what the world was becoming. I'm like, that's what I want to be.
Yeah.
That's where I want to go with this. That's the kind of man I want to live up to. And I will never be even half the man that they were because of what they've done. But I'll try. And it's in trying that we know we're doing right.
Yeah, I can't agree more, man. Like, well, this is the thing. Like, the way you are now is a token and a thank you to the way you were brought up because of these people. So, I mean, you're basically carrying on their legacy of what they did for the world and trying to make a difference in a similar but different, your own way. You know what I mean? So then that's respecting the memory of those people, and that's a big thing. Like, I mean, we are what we how we are made. So, you know, when people are brought up in terrible situations, then it's like monkey see, monkey do a little bit, isn't it? Like, you know, you are what you have learned of experience, and if you see someone doing and you feel that is the way you should be, and that, you know, it resonates with you, then you will do that.
Well, in saying that, I actually had the other side of it as well to deal with, but it was a choice that I made to see the good that they did and to replicate that rather than see the anger that I'd received from other places.
Yeah.
And go out there and be one of those knobs that just likes beating on people.
Yeah.
I went through the bullying as a kid. I went through, like, literally, I was stabbed in school and kept back by the teacher for my own safety.
Yeah.
And all this, and when I got home, I'd be told, get out there and get their blood on you. They've done you wrong. They've done this. They've done that. Go out there and make them suffer.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. What's that going to achieve?
Just retaliation.
What will that actually fix in the world?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't satisfy anyone. It doesn't make you feel good by retaliating like that either. Like, if someone does something wrong, to do something wrong again. I mean, it's the old thing that your parents tell you, isn't it? Like, you know, if you treat someone wrong, exactly. It does not equal itself. It does not, you know, cancel each other out. It makes it worse. And like, if when we were kids, it was hard, obviously, because I mean, like, I was pretty badly bullied when I was a kid too. Like, obviously, being someone I was a bit of a bookworm, like, I was a bit of a nerd, like, you know, I carry my bag around on my back and I just, you know, do my tie up, and I was the kid that tried to be very structured when I was younger, and yeah, I get picked on for it as well. Like, it was, you know,
you're not really changed much on that.
No,
you're still very
same.
structured.
I'm exactly the same. I didn't change one bit, but you know what? I did. Obviously, bullying it affects different people in different ways. Like, bullies never get, you know, bullies are bullies for a reason, because, you know, they've come from some sort of, like, either, you know, a home that doesn't love them, or like a way that it's a way of them releasing anger in a way that they're powerless to do so in another way, right? And they see someone who's weaker than them, and it makes them feel better by you know, bringing you down or making you feel bad, and they don't really care about the ramifications until later in life when they realize they've done wrong, or if they don't realize at all, then it's not really your problem anymore, right? But what I'm saying is like this happens to people, and it happens so often now that it's just accepted, and it's a problem because it breeds horrible people, but it also breeds really good people. Because if you do get bullied and you retaliate, you'll know better. But if you do get bullied and you take it like as a way of saying, okay, this person's not okay, or how do I be a better person, right? That's actually not a bad thing, and it actually is going to breed a better, people in the world, because the more people like that, the more tolerant the world becomes, and less petty. You know what I mean?
Well, that's exactly the thing. It's just realizing your humanity at that moment in time.
Exactly.
It's the people that are quite happily to turn into the bully that don't really have that side of them. They don't have the sympathetic soul or the compassion to actually go out there and say, you know what, this person's obviously going through something, rather than going hitting them for what they've done.
Exactly.
Try and help them.
Exactly. It's the same. It's the same way I deal with trolls in chat. I say, well, look, give us your best joke, and if it's good enough, you can stay. But if you're just gonna come in and drop a bomb that is not supposed to be in the chat, then you can leave. But I'm all for one for jokes. You've seen how I deal with people sometimes when they come in and have a bit of a laugh at me. I'm fine with it. I'm one of those
different levels of trollism.
100%. Look, if you're clever enough and you come in, you lead with a dick joke, I'm more than happy to join in on that. All right. But if you lead with just absolute garbage spam, I'm just gonna let you go, because it's not gonna help anyone. It's not funny. It's not silly. It's just the way it is, But it's the same thing on the internet. You've got to be selective with what you look at and what you watch and what you vibe with, because sometimes it's just there's so many toxic, horrible things out there. If you are toxic in yourself, you'll find all of it. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like a magnet to you.
It's kind of like going to COD and expecting that there won't be any toxicity there.
Yeah, no, it's naivety.
No matter what.
It's just the way it is. Like, not everyone has a positive. Like some people, when say, as for example, the COD example, some people go into a game and they already expect to lose. Some people go into a game and they think, I'm not happy unless I get 10 kills in the win. Then they get mad when they don't, right? Even though they've got 7 kills, right? But then the person that goes in and says, I'll be happy with 1 and picking up a gun, right? And when that person gets 1 kill and a gun, it's the best day of their life. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about the perspective of the person looking at it. You know what I mean? Like,
I tried out Blackout.
Oh yeah.
Like really late. I picked up a copy after I'd already played Warzone.
The sweatiest place on the internet.
Holy shit, I dropped it. First building I go into, nothing in it.
Yeah.
Right away, there's a guy in the opposite building, he's got an AK pointing at my head. Where's my gun?
That game's so hard.
I went into another game, dropped different building, no gun in it. I'm like, the fuck's going on? I don't get a gun until I punch someone to death.
No, you know what I mean? Like, just it's little things like that. It's just again, it's all about perspective. Like, when it's a silly example because we're gamers. We use gaming examples for everything because that's how we are. But when it comes to life, it's all about perspective. You know what I mean? And like you said back when you were just talking about your grandfather with the giving of food or whatever it might be to someone who doesn't have anything, that thing to them is everything. Okay, you give that to someone who has the food, who has the everything already, it means nothing. Okay, it's just whatever.
But they still take it.
Of course they do. And the people that don't take it and say give it to someone else, like, obviously they're the people you want to get to know and they're the people you want to be friends with. But the people that take that box and they say this is a lifeline for me and you didn't ask for anything in return, and now my life is better because of you, because of the kindness of others, And the people that realize that are the people you should surround yourself with, because those people are better than anyone else when it comes to like the people who are just the selfish people of the world, you know, like it's perspective.
Yeah, it's like, you know, obviously I enjoy my gigs, things like that. I went watching Alter Bridge,
Yep.
the MEN,
Great band.
and I've come out and you've got all these workers around there seeing me hobbling along on my crutch, and I'm asking them for help. I got absolutely nothing off them.
Yeah.
Like, just get down there, just go that way. By the time I made it to the bus stop to get the bus home, it had already just passed. I'd hobbled 3/4 of a mile on my crutch, bearing in mind, obviously, I'm meant to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I was in agony. I dropped to the floor. I was in tears. The person that came across to me was homeless. And he came and sat with me and was like, what's wrong? What's happening? And I'm feeling so shit for thinking that my situation at that time was terrible for me, knowing that this person was on the street. And obviously that money that I had was for my bus fare, everything like that, for getting home. No chance.
Yeah.
I knew I had friends out there that could have come and picked me up. I took the money out of my wallet, put it in his hand, and I turned and he says, I know you can't get in anywhere tonight, but tomorrow get into an hotel, have a decent sleep, get a shower, make yourself feel better, and go from there. So I wish I could do more for you, but obviously this is my current situation. And then I rang my friend up and I'm like, I know that you were asleep and you're at work in the morning, but I missed my bus. Can you please come and pick me up? And it was realizing that my situation wasn't actually that dire.
Yeah.
Granted, I was in a lot of pain and couldn't walk anymore.
Yeah.
But I could sit there until I got picked up rather safely, even though I was out in the middle of Manchester on my own.
Yeah.
You know, the homeless guy at the side of me sat and waited with me. And it's like, it's seeing that kindness of someone that had nothing in that moment that really changed my night. Granted, the gig had been amazing.
Yeah.
I loved every second, but I felt so shit that I'd used the money to go to that and to buy the beers that I'd done and everything like that when someone was sat right outside with nowhere to live.
Yeah. And again, that shows the kind of person you are as well. Like,
well, it's like I got back as soon as I was back in my wheelchair. I felt fine because my leg was back supported. I wasn't putting any pressure through it. Yeah. Everything like that. My life was going to go back to normal. The poor guy there, it wasn't.
No.
The councils weren't doing anything about it. So that one little thing that I did for him probably got him some relief for one night. And that to me made my night.
Yeah.
Like, the gig was amazing, but it was nothing in comparison to the fact that I got to help him and saw that even though he had fuck all to his name, he was still one of the kindest people in the city centre that night.
Yeah.
And yet people walk by him every day, like, oh, don't go near them, they're scum. No, they're fucking not. They're just down on the luck.
Yeah. That's again, like, it's just the way some people are different. Like, again, with this perspective, you know, it's tough. Like, and I'll be devil's advocate. I mean, it's tough. Like, you walk past a lot of people. You know what I mean? You walk past a lot of people in life, and you don't know their situations. You can't help everyone, right? And you can't, you know, you can't be the person who goes to every single homeless person and gives them $1. You know, it's not going to be, you know, it's not something you can do. But if everyone was like you, right, and made the effort to learn about someone like that, or if everyone was like that homeless person who was as kind as they are, the world would not only be a better place, but it'll be a more productive place, because everybody in it would be in it to help each other, and then the world would run smoother. There wouldn't be any problems like as we have now. Like, just as an example with the COVID stuff, the reason that Australia doesn't have enough vaccines right now is because of trading, right? It's not because the world, like, everyone in the world is in this together, right? and we all need vaccines, and everyone needs to be vaccinated or whatever it might be, and so we can get past this, right? But we don't have enough because the countries wouldn't sell it to us, right? We don't have enough because we don't manufacture it here, because we didn't invent it, right? So all these companies who all their vaccines are named after themselves, right? Each company has all these vaccines that they've got, which is literally could be the end of this, right? But they won't give it to you. They only sell it to you, right? And I understand they have to make. I understand they have to make money or whatever, but doesn't it seem a little wrong, right? That the only way out of a giant economic catastrophe and a global fucking sadness is that, you know, to give everyone just this vaccine that everyone needs. You can't just give it to them. You have to roll it out slowly with money. Do you know what I mean? And that's
yeah.
And then, like I said, basically as a comparison to what we were just talking about right now, the kindness of people. Imagine everyone was just as kind to each other in an individual sense as in a group community sense. Then the world we'd be over this already. Everyone would. Do you know?
I say, it all comes back to that community. The world kind of lost that. We lost the realization that we are all one.
Correct.
One of the greatest stories that I've seen out of the pandemic that we're going through for big business was Formula One.
Yeah.
The factories in Formula One shut down production on the cars and everything to make the ventilators for hospitals.
Yeah.
They completely shut down all production for the sport that they were intended to and made them for free and gave them out. And I think Mercedes were the main one that did it.
Yeah.
But to switch over the entire system of your factory to start making ventilators for hospitals to save lives, it's quite a big thing for a company to do. Yeah. Especially when it's going to be losing them millions of pounds to do it.
Yeah, well, this is the kindness of others again.
If a company like Mercedes can do that, why can't governments?
I know. And then, yeah, what it is because governments are in competition with each other. So, like, each government says they're looking after the people, but they're not. They're looking after themselves and the borders that they hold against other nations. So they're not competing. They're not competing to win the nation. They're competing against a nation. So, like, it's like we live in an island over here in Australia. We live on a giant island, and we're all Australian, right? But we still bicker and fight about everything. Like, there's no if buts or maybes about it because it's probably
every country in the world does that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But like, we could be better by uniting and doing everything we did with multiculturalism. Like not many countries have still done that. Yeah. This country became a multicultural country in 1970s, like that, and that's only 70 years into the fact that it was established. Do you know what I mean? So we made that mix because everyone who came here was different, and we accepted that, and because we don't like as a country we acknowledge that everyone is an individual and everyone is accepted, and that's fine. That's how we operated, right? You would know it the way we talk to each other because we all talk to each other terribly, but it's in the nicest way possible. You know what I mean? Like people always laugh at me because I'm always like, my best friend is my mate or my best friend is my cunt. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I was
going to say, don't you call everyone a cunt over that?
It's a term of endearment for us, but if you say it in a different context, like if you're in a different country, people want to kill you. It's just it's all about perspective again with that. But what I'm saying is that if we can do that with multiculturalism and bring everyone together and all that kind of stuff, why can't we just do it with every country? Do you know what I mean? Like why? But yeah. It's everyone has different priorities. Everyone.
It's like I know it's not where I'm from or you're from, but I know they had the problems over in America during the pandemic. New York was one of the worst places hit. Yeah. Obviously, JFK, where all the businessmen fly in. And the government literally turned around and said, right, your borders are shut. You're not allowed to leave or enter New York. And if you survive, you survive. If you die, you die.
Yeah.
We're not sending you any more respirators. We're not sending you any more meds. You're on your own. Deal with it. Now, I think that in itself should end the government.
Yeah.
You know, that government that's in charge should be taken out of office straight away. I know over here they got it a bit fucking wrong. They kept opening and closing the lockdowns and turning around saying, well, if you're out there shielding, you've got to stay at home. But everybody else gets to go back to work and go back to the pubs and get COVID and make it worse again. And
it's crazy.
And then you got the shielding and staying safe at home. You suffer even more because you got to stay there longer.
Yeah, it's getting to the point now with lockdowns and all this other stuff that I think people just need to be smart. Like you don't like. I feel like common sense should just be the guys for
common
this.
Sense should have prevailed a long time ago.
Yeah,
a long time ago.
Because governments clearly don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like they have no idea at this point because they're just making it up as they go along. Like the rules in this country change every single day, and they base it on things that have happened weeks ago.
5 kilometer.
Yeah, we're not.
radius,
So they're saying now that we can't travel 5 kilometers from our house unless it's essential, right? Now, essential is a word that they use for everything. Essential can mean one thing to one person and one thing to another person, but the government doesn't know how to define it. And then when you are doing something that's not essential, determining on who you're talking to, you get in trouble, you get a fine, right? Now, the fact that there's guidelines, but they're so open-ended. It's basically like if you leave your house, you will get a fine. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like people I know who do not work in essential service or are working at home. They're not allowed to leave their house, right? But me, I work on cars, right? I can go anywhere I want. Like, that seems ridiculous. Like,
but at the same time, you could do your work on cars without any contact with anybody at all.
Correct. But they still won't let me go to households in order to service their cars, which is my job.
Yeah.
Even though I can do it contact-free on the street. Like,
you can do it contact-free, masked and gloved.
Yeah, which I would anyway. Like, I've been doing that for 2 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, just... But they don't trust people to do the right thing. So this is the thing, right? People, according to governments, people have to be told what to do. They can't be trusted to do the right thing, right? And there's always the minority that will ruin it for everyone else. Like there's always, the 2%, the 5% of people who are morons are always going to ruin it for everyone else and make it worse. But that's just human nature. Not everyone has common sense. And some people do ruin it for everyone else. But you can't blanket the 95% of people doing the right thing based on the 5% of people doing the wrong thing and then tell everyone what to do, because that's not how it works. Like, the government works for the people. It's not the other way around. But governments have lost that. They think that they're in charge.
Yeah, they kind of forgot that.
They don't care about that, do they?
Oh, we'll take your money. We'll be rich.
Yeah.
And
you just stay at home and if you don't have internet, suck shit. And if you don't have a phone, that's tough. And you can't go out and get one. And if you need some food, you can go to the shops, but it has to be a shop within 5 kilometers of your house. But if the shop isn't 5 kilometers from your house, well, tough shit to that too. And the service that brings the food to your house, they're outside of 5 kilometers, so that's not going to happen. So you may as well just starve and die. So tough shit to that. But we're going to give you some money, but only if you're eligible. But only if you make a certain amount of money. It's like, for fuck's sake, like,
Is it over in Australia that it's if you made a certain amount of money the year before?
The year before. So it's 2019 it's based on. So it's
based on 2019 when there was no COVID.
Correct.
And you could go out and earn. But now that COVID's around.
Exactly.
And you can't go out and earn.
So they're basically saying that you have to earn, I think it's $75,000 a year, right? Which is not an average wage, like in general for most people. If you earned between 75,000 and however many millions in 2019 in the 2 weeks of June, and you compare that to the 2 weeks of June this year, if you lost 30%, you get paid $1,000. That was the go. And you know what? They only shut down half of industry in that 2 weeks, and then they shut down the rest of industry the 2 weeks after that. So now we have to go back and do that again, but in a different way because they've changed it again. And it's so fucking complicated and so ridiculous. and no one knows what the fuck to do. And we're all sitting here going, my business is going under. Like, and $1,000 is not going to cut it. You know, my business is going under, which when it can be functioning quite fine and perfectly well in a safe way, and you are giving me no choice.
You said that you thought when you were coming out that you bought quite a lot of stuff to
Correct.
have us stop.
Yeah, so I had plenty of money.
Things, didn't you?
I had plenty of money in savings, like a lot of money in savings, right? I've had this business running for 4 years now, and it's finally at this point now where it's making a very good profit because I've worked really, really hard to make it what it is, right? The first year I started working with this business, I made it zero. Like I had money saved from my prior work, which I lived off, and I spent my entire first year basically forwarding myself for the year after. Like I bought everything from scratch. I built it the way it was built. I built it from zero. I have 1,000 customers now, and I built it like in the last 4 years, and every single year it's going up and it's going up, it's going up, even during the first part of this pandemic, I've been building it and building it all the way through because I've never been hemorrhaged by lockdowns, right? Which I'm lucky for, right? But now, it's now at the point where I'm finally in a year. The fourth year of a business is big, right? 3 years and a business dies. Yeah. It either succeeds or it dies. So it's succeeded, right? But now, the government's basically saying, this is it for you. This is the ceiling, okay? You cannot earn any more money because we say so. But the money that they're offering me is not going to cover, the bills that I've already accumulated and all the stuff that I'm trying to achieve. And then, like I said to you just now, I went ahead the last few months prior to this outbreak investing in things. So I went and bought, a unit for storage. I paid it in advance, okay? I went and I bought a couple of cars that I was fixing that now owe me money. Obviously, I can't sell them because no one's buying cars. And I have all these, and it's tens of thousands of dollars that I've basically invested in all these different, things that I thought, because I'm a long-term person. Like I don't see the picture of a month. I see the picture of 3 years. Like for me, everything I do is 3 years in advance of myself. So I'm always thinking ahead of ways I can, better whatever I'm doing now in 3 years in the future, not the month of the future. You know what I mean? So
see, I used to be like that. I used to think ahead, but since I got put out of work, I've been planning for the day after only.
Correct.
That's as far as I'm prepared, because obviously I don't know whether the morning after I'm going to wake up and be bedbound.
Yeah.
So I can't really plan ahead for weeks, months in advance and think, yeah, I'm definitely going to be able to do that. And I'll be fine and life will be fucking great, because it's been more difficult than that. My pain literally rules my life.
Yeah.
I try not to let it, but unfortunately, I've got no real control over it. The medication that they give me is weak as fuck.
Pain is pain, man.
And doesn't actually kill my pain. When you're on it long term, it actually has more side effects than pain relief.
Yeah.
And I've been gradually getting into this kind of lockdown thing since I got injured in 2008.
Yeah.
Because I've been becoming more and more of a recluse because of the disability.
Yeah.
The things that I used to love doing, like going fishing, playing snooker, playing football, playing rugby, I can't do any of them.
Yeah.
So the closest thing I got to any of that was going to the pub and watching it.
Yeah, now you can't do that.
Or if I had a friend close by that could take me to a lake, I could go and fish, but they literally had to be there with me to be able to do it, because I can't grip the lines anymore to tie the knots that were needed or anything like that. So it's like every little thing that I enjoyed was gone. The only thing I had left was gaming, and I couldn't really game either at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, do I fucking do with myself?
No, I get you.
Where do I go from here? And that's when I started doing my poetry more often. I was writing more. I was going on podcasts more. I went back to college trying to learn something. This was pre-wheelchair. I actually passed the course I did at college, and then went back for the next 2 years, set myself up for it, and then got told because I didn't have my wheelchair already, I wasn't allowed to go. because the travelling it was so difficult for me that they expected me to already have the wheelchair set and go from there. I'm like, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's not been given to me as an option because I've got a 6 to 8 month wait for my chair to be ready. Oh, well, we're just going to kick you off the course. I'm like, what the fuck do I do with myself?
Yeah, well, it's not
It's
your
constantly
choice, is it?
So I tried setting up a business,
Yeah.
to which the government told me I wasn't disabled enough to work 16 hours a week. I had to do 40. I'm like, what do you class as disabled enough? Because I can't stand out there selling things 40 hours a week.
No, because you can't
I can
stand.
do some of the work at home and run it on like, no, that doesn't work the same. You've got to go somewhere and try and sell your stuff. Well, then I can't do it. Traveling's difficult for me because obviously I was pre-wheelchair. I'm on my crutch. I literally,
It's just like,
well, you're gonna have to stick on sick then. I went, but I'm trying to get off the sick and take the burden off the fucking system, and you're pushing me back to it.
yeah.
And then I went for a medical, and I'm sat in my electric wheelchair as I am now. And they went, oh, you can walk 200 meters unaided.
I'm in a wheelchair. I didn't know. Can you show me?
Can you let me do this now, please? I've been dying for being able to walk for, nearly 13 years now. Show me how. It's like, no, you can, it's seen here. The doctor saw it. You can walk 200 meters unaided. I went, when did they see it? I didn't see it. I literally got up from here onto my crutch, which is an aid.
Oh my God.
And then hobbled round the wheelchair and sat back down. That's as far as I went. I'm like, no, it definitely happened. So they took all of my money off me.
Wow.
And for 3 months, I was surviving off £75 a week.
Which is nothing.
So I had none of my disability money for travelling or anything like that to support me to be able to get out the flat. The £75 a week basically covered £30 a week in gas and electric, £30 a week in bus fare for getting to and back to and from my daughter, and the extra £15 was spent on food for her. Luckily, I had some reserves of pasta and things like that I'd made up, but for 3 months, that's what I lived on.
Yeah, wow.
Because the government was turning around saying, no, your disability it doesn't actually exist. I'm like, I only really applied for it because my occupational therapist told me that with being put in a wheelchair, my condition's now worse.
Wow.
So if my condition's worse, I should be getting the higher rate, which then I can get a car and I can go and get a job. But you won't allow me to do that. You just keep fucking sending me back home.
It's like they're cutting you off at the legs before you even to basically bring a joke into it. they're literally cutting your legs off, and before you can even try to stand. Like that's fucked. Like in so many ways.
So it's like I had the poetry that I was writing, and I did that as my business. That lasted 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
At which point the government told me, I think it was £1,800. I refused to pay it because I wasn't disabled enough. I then tried setting up a business with my homemade soaps and candles and things like that I was making for myself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good enough. You can't do that. You've got to do that for 40 hours a week in a factory. You've got to get a workforce. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've not even sold any yet, and you're trying to make me as big as fuck.
Yeah, I'll open a factory with the millions that I have.
Yeah, let's start slow. Let's start small. It's a home business doing this. It's all natural stuff. I'm making it at home for myself at the moment. I was just looking to sell a little bit, make a bit of cash, buy more products, make more.
Yeah.
Do it small. And this is how I understand with the 3-year plan that you were on about before, because I know your first year is meant to be a loss. Your second year, you're looking to break even, but possibly going to lose a little bit. Your third year, you're hoping to see the profit. If you don't see the profit, the business has failed.
Correct. That's
so
how
I
business
already
works.
understood all that.
Yeah. And yeah, it's
it was just a period. Like,
I know.
you try
That's
all these things.
they seem to
No,
just
sit
round
with
and around in
your
circles, don't they? Like it's like they nothing. Like obviously, they think it's free money, right? And then nothing comes free that is free. Does that make sense? So like they
yeah,
want to make you work for it in order for them to give you something. Now, if we are looking in the concept of how government is today, that makes sense because the government is working for itself and not for the people. But if we base it on the way the constitution reads in most countries, where it says the government is to work for the people, then shouldn't they just give you the money if you need it? Without making you jump through 17 hoops and telling you you're not good enough
yeah.
and not disabled enough. Like that seems,
Literally, I think that they would happily have me go to work in a coffee.
yeah. It's like, and then you'd be
Just
earning more money.
yeah.
It's just, it's, I don't know. And like, again, coming back to what the situation that I'm in now, like, look, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to starve. Like, I'm not going to, I'm not going to be hemorrhaged. I'm not going to go like broke or anything. Like, cause I obviously have like, I have supportive family and friends and all that kind of stuff and plenty of other things that I've got going on and stuff like that. But the problem for me is that I'm upset because I've spent all this time and all this effort and all this blood, sweat, and tears, literally blood, sweat, and tears, on building this business from nothing because I wanted to go out on my own. I didn't want to work for anyone. I wanted to actually make something of it. And now it's being cut in half for no reason I can control. Right? I have no control over
Yeah.
what is going on, and I have no control over this absolute like it's like a seed I planted and has grown into a tree, and now the tree's been cut down, and I'm not allowed to fucking stop it. Like that's what it is, and I can't do anything. All I can look at is from a distance from my window being COVID safe. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, and how is that? How is that stopping
But you think
COVID?
to yourself, look, you've not got COVID.
Mate, well, look, at least I won't be the one in 20 people that have
That's the way they
died in
look
this
at it.
country. Like, it's just, it doesn't justify it. Like, yes, we are in a pandemic. Yes, COVID is very bad. Yes, we can die from COVID. You can die from a lot of things. But the thing is, you know what's going to kill more people than COVID? Depression and
Starving to
suicide.
death.
Depression and suicide. That's going to kill more people than
Absolutely,
COVID.
yeah.
Because if you're stuck in the house and you're with your own thoughts and you're not in a good headspace and you can't get to talking to people about this kind of thing, you can't go out to see your counselor, you can't go to your community group, you can't go to your sporting event, you can't do any of these things, that's going to kill you faster than COVID will. I can guarantee you that. Because that's what, mental health is a bigger issue than COVID. And they don't give a shit about that. They don't give a shit about that. But
You
you know
think of
what?
the amount of times that we've tried to get it to have mental health as being an actual illness. Like, for years, it was deemed that you were just taking the piss if you said, I'm feeling too depressed to work.
Correct.
And it's only within the last 20 years that they've started taking it seriously. Now, fortunately for me, I can write out my pain, and just once it's out of me, I just deal with it that way. It's gone. I compartmentalize everything, put it at the back of my mind, and I'm done with. I'll get back to doing whatever I need to do to block it out. Not everyone has that same tactic. Not everyone has a coping mechanism that works for them.
No.
Mine took many years to fucking find. Many fucking years. I suffered from depression from being a young kid. And it wasn't until I hit about 21, 22 that I decided my writing was going to be my coping mechanism. I started it at 17, but it didn't escape the pain for me until I was a bit older, because when I started out, alcohol was my escape.
Mm-hmm.
And I know full well that alcohol's not the right fucking choice for an escape from depression, because it's a depressant.
Correct. It makes it worse.
So you go into drink it and then feel worse the day after. At the time, it feels fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You're out there, you're pretending to love life, partying with your friends, everything like that. Then you go home and you're alone again. And that's when it really hits again after the the alcohol. The depression hits again when you're back alone. And like, I don't know whether you'd allow me to share a piece of my work
No, absolutely.
with you. See, a lot of people see my writing about my depression as very dark, which it is.
Well, depression is not supposed to be a happy thing.
No, I mean like extremely dark, and they say it can glorify the depression.
Okay. Well, look, I mean,
Because,
everyone in this community is very big on mental health, and so no matter what you read to them, they're always going to support you. So you know
yeah,
what?
it's more for me
Yeah.
than anybody else. It's me writing it out. Like, I know that I deal with my depression this way, and that, as I said, once it's out of me, it's dealt with. And I know that people have read my work and have come through it. Like, I was talking to you the other day about the guy that had overcome his fear of performing his work live. And he's still messaging me now and thanking me. And he actually tagged me in a piece on his Instagram, turning around saying, there are people in this community that deserve a shout out for the support that they give to others without ever expecting anything in return.
Correct.
That don't get anything off any of you, and they've left the community because of it. And he was literally just tagging me and talking about me at the time. And I'm like, I've not left for that reason. I didn't want anything. I'm just sick of people being toxic.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like I was in high school.
Yeah, it's pain.
It really did.
I agree. Look, well, rate us your piece. I'd love to hear it, man. And look, as with context, guys, like if this is just the way your thoughts are and the way it makes you feel better, I think we'll understand it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find one that's not quite as dark.
I don't think. Look, it's again, it's context and perspective.
I'll tell you what. I asked you to play a song for me earlier, which you played for me, "The Show Must Go On" by Queen. Now, that song saved my life several times, to the point where I've literally got it tattooed on my arm.
Oh, wow.
And I wrote a piece to it.
Okay.
I'm trying so desperately to see a future that doesn't seem to fall before my mind. Blanketed in darkness, no memories allowed to be made. A continuance of just another day, which I long ago forbade. Lucid thoughts long gone. No more am I who I believed myself to be. Just a remnant, reliving the same dreams I had already once dreamed. Every waking moment feels like an impossible quest to achieve a desire to still exist. The days growing longer, peace harder to find. Where the fuck do you go when you can't escape your own mind? Lights out, music loud, drowning out the voices of life's essence, no longer around. One day, you pray, you may find a desire to stay, but every hope and wish just flutter away on the singed wings of your burnt out butterfly heart. Empty spaces. What are we living for? My vessel tired of fighting for if only and one more dream. I lock away my demons, but still I hear them scream. Come home. Escape this hell on earth and to the next life arise. Violate your flesh. It's a cocoon for a creature you know you want to be. Spread wings and fly free. You'll see. In the escape, you'll find the craving fulfilled for a life of great beauty. Spread wings of red, pulled from torn open limbs. Fly to the light as it glimmers, almost gone. Then back to reality your mind falls. I can fly, my friends, the show must go on.
That's awesome. It's like,
So that,
yeah, go on, sorry.
that's it's literally written about the darkness that I was feeling within the times that I'm listening to the song, and how it brought me back to knowing that I had to keep going. Like I've been to the point where I actually attempted my life. Did a great job of it at the time, and ended up getting brought back in hospital. And from that moment on, even though the darkness tried to take me, I knew that I had a lot more to get out there and do for other people.
Yeah.
Never for myself. It was always about doing things for other people, saving other lives, because other lives meant more. And other lives could save more of the world than mine. I can save the life that saves the world, but I can't save the world myself.
Yeah.
I never expected that I could go out there and do that. But the amount of people that I have attempted to help through the darker times that have gone on to be a lot more than they believe they could be has been crazy.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, look, it's crazy what kindness can bring. You know what I mean? Like, the little bit of kindness you show one person might change them for forever. Like, you don't know what it might change them for that 5 minutes. It might change them for an hour. It might change them for a week. You don't know, right? And that's how I can understand, especially through the emotion you share when you read that, and especially through the way that that I see community and stuff like that, and how important this is to everyone. Is this the same reason why I take the people in this chat to another channel and give that hype and love to someone else? Because even like someone like Pulpy, you know, or someone like Ryan, or someone like Bud, or someone like any of these people who come in here and share love to us, and we can give it back, or even if we don't, and we can just find someone new. If the one act of kindness that you give to someone in that 10 minutes it takes, or whatever, 5 minutes, whatever, it doesn't take long, okay? In that time it takes for you to go showing kindness to others, they could have been having a day where they were having a day like you were that day when you decided to do that to yourself, right? They could have been having a day like that, and they needed something like that in order to bring them back. Or they needed something like that to put them on a path to realize that they're worth more, or to realize that their life is meaningful, or whatever it might be, right? And so that little bit that we do in this community to give to others is the reason why it's so important, and it's the reason why I do it, and that's the reason why this community is the way it is today, and it's the reason why we can have conversations like this and we can make a difference. And that's the important part about all of this. Like, you could send someone on the path, you know, to either be a better person or to bring them out of a dark place, and it doesn't take much.
Yeah, that's part of when you were doing your charity stream the other week, when I offered to come on and do the podcast part with you then. It's part of why, because obviously this has been the majority of my life, and I'm not talking personally about myself suffering. I'm on about the wanting to help people, knowing that you're bringing it to a larger community than I was. I know I can come into here and talk about these things, and there's more people hearing it. There's more people seeing the fact that they're not alone in their fights. That it doesn't take more than a message to someone to get the help that they need.
Correct.
And like my Real Talk Tuesdays that I was doing on Instagram. Now, I plan to start them up again in the future, but obviously I needed a long break from Instagram.
Yeah.
It was horrible being there. Like, I didn't go to high school when I was at high school. I used to turn up to register, go and grab my fishing gear and go fishing for the day.
Yeah.
because I hated high fuel toxicity that much.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
granted, I still passed all my exams.
The word toxic is a poisonous word. Like and you know, toxicity breeds more toxicity. It spreads. It spreads so easily too. Like, you know, to be mean to someone is easy. You know, and like people who like to be mean to people, they find it just as easy to do that and then to breathe air. Do you know what I mean? But the people that they want to help people, it's sometimes a bit harder. Do you know what I mean? For those people to do that. And if you're going to be toxic to someone, it's easy because you just write something horrible, right? And then the next person's going to pass on the toxicity to the next person and vice versa, and it spreads. But you know what? Kindness and being nice to someone can also spread just as fast if you have the right community behind you and the right people in the circle. So it's but social media in general is just like that because there's always more toxic people because they have no face to their name. And they can get away with it. You know, when you read the reviews for a restaurant, you read 7,000 good ones, but the one bad one, you'll read that one. You know what I mean? When you're ordering food and you're looking for a place to find food, you go, it's got 16 5-star reviews, but one star. Are you going to read the 15 or are you going to read the 1?
Well, yeah, we're kind of like a magnet. We're always looking for the negative.
That's what I mean. So it's like, it's like 16 people said the chicken was amazing, but the one person says the chicken was undercooked. It's like, well, I'm not eating there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's silly. It's silly the way our brains work, and it's silly the way humans are sometimes, but that's just the way we are. And it takes a certain type of person to actually give a shit. And the fact that I've met you, mate, it's a pleasure.
The biggest thing for us is to try it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, if someone turns around and says, "Oh, you don't want to be over there, that person's this, that, and the other," well, that's their opinion.
Yeah.
And value the fact that they're allowed their own opinion, but your opinion could be different.
Correct.
You know, there's many different areas on this. Like, these people will tell you you're not allowed to do certain things, or it's bad for you, and things like that. Like, even with things such as people drinking, they'll tell you don't do it, or eating meat, you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
It's bad for you. But, well, it's my choice, my body, my life.
Yeah.
I want to do a little bit of it, I can. Granted, too much of it will kill me.
Yeah.
But don't try ruling my life. Allow me to form my own opinion on everything and enjoy it.
Exactly. And then everyone has a choice. Everyone has a choice in life. They have a choice to do whatever they want to do. But right now we don't. but in general, like speaking, you do have control over the things you do in life, and you do have control over what you want to achieve in life. If as long as you're not trying to go to the moon, there's always a way. There's always a path.
I think I could manage going to the moon.
You reckon? You get some Neil Armstrong
just
vibes.
Destiny.
Yeah, that's true. Look, again, and like, hey, that's a perspective thing too, isn't it? You know, physically, maybe not, but video game wise, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'll achieve my dream from my desk. But
I don't know about the 10 minutes thing. It takes a while longer than that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Mate, I was watching you play that game the other day, and honestly, I was getting a headache. Like, it's like the amount of stuff going on in that game is just like intense. Like, I don't know how you concentrate. You know, I mean, I play Warzone and stuff, right? Like, yeah, it's pretty intense, but that is just like, it's too much going on. Like, it's just like, you know, the double, triple jump stuff, and then like, you know, everyone's shooting at you, and like the phasing and the jumping. Oh, mate, it just drove me insane. Like, I was watching you play it, and I had to keep like just listening to you and rather than watching it because it was actually like doing my head in.
It's like I stopped playing Destiny for 2 years when Activision had control over it.
Yeah.
Because they were releasing new stuff, but it was always new stuff that was exactly the same as the stuff that came out before. You
mean exactly the same as Warzone is now?
Yeah.
Crazy that.
Which is also why I don't really play Warzone.
There's no creativity behind it. It's just, yeah.
I have the biggest problem with Warzone recently that I've had in a long time, where I had an invisible gun. So I've dropped in, and I'm sat there with an invisible gun in my hand. I'm like, how do I aim? How do I shoot people? What the fuck's going on? I aim down my sight, and I'm thinking, this is relatively where my sight would be. Start shooting. Only about 3 meters off the person that I'm trying to shoot at with a sniper rifle, without a silencer on it. So they knew exactly where I was after it, and then I'm on with my mate Ed, and he's off in a building, sat there hiding away from the enemies, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to fight on my own with an invisible gun, mate.
Yeah.
Come here and help me. No, you play your way, I'll play my way. If you don't like the way I play, then why'd you play with me?
Yeah. That's funny, isn't it?
Just come and help me. Stop hiding in a building. It's a war game. Come and shoot someone. Then they can stop shooting at me so I can try and get to the point where my gun appears.
So good.
And I've not played on Warzone since.
No, it's
I went back and played a bit of hardcore TDM, but
that's about it. That's fun, though.
Until I know it's fixed, I really don't want to go through it because it causes such anger inside you.
It does. It brews it. It brews the pain. It's like, oh, come on. Like, why do you hate me? I get that.
It's a free game, but I paid £80 for the actual game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, hopefully I get my own worth. Yeah, I get that. Dude, we've been chatting for an hour and a half. I just wanted to ask you real quick before we wrap up the podcast. I really want to ask you a question. As a streamer, obviously you love to stream. Can you tell me the greatest moment you've had on stream so far when it comes to either gaming or just relating to people?
I don't think it was actually on stream. I think the greatest moments I've seen are being in other people's chats and seeing that support. Yeah. You know, like I was watching Pulpy's stream the day I got affiliate. And while he's on stream, he's just said, right, just give me a minute. And I'd only got in to say thank you for the support.
Yeah.
In getting affiliate, coming in and watching my stream and helping me get there. And while he was on stream, he went straight to my channel and he was the first person to subscribe while I was offline.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't need to do that. I really appreciate it. You didn't need to do that. I'm just coming in saying thank you for the support, getting me over the 3 average.
Yeah.
It was so hard to get over that 3 average. Like my first stream, I had 8 people.
It's very hard. It's very difficult. Yeah, really difficult.
And that's why I went out to help other people out. And I think now I'm up to 48 for the year so far that I've helped to get to affiliate.
Yeah.
So I'm 2 off my goal for the year.
Yeah.
Which I know I'll hit over the course of the next months. I know we've got to get Stagger Failing, which is OJ. We're trying to get him to affiliate, which he literally needs the followers at the moment. Then that'll be one done. And, you know, as many more come to the Discords, we'll get them there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep it going. You know, even once I've hit my target of 50, we'll just see how far we can get past it.
Yeah.
And then we'll keep going on to next year and everything like that. But between that as a personal moment and seeing the communities come together on this seasonal support streams, which I'm going to be doing again. I'm planning on doing these for every big holiday where you're supposed to be with family.
Yeah.
So that you know there's going to be people out there without the family that are going to be alone. And I eventually want to start doing it for charity on these seasonal support streams where we pick a charity as a group and everybody gets a link to that charity and puts it up in the chat, and then we see how much we can raise for that charity over the full 24 hours as multiple streamers.
Yeah.
But the next one I'm going to do is Christmas this year again. I'm planning on trying for longer than 24 hours because now I know a lot more streamers.
Yeah.
Back then I only knew about 50 when I started at Christmas. Now I know a lot more. I'm hoping that a lot more will get on board and we can try for around 36 hours across the Christmas so that we cover all of the world.
Yeah. That sounds
So we'll
amazing.
probably start in Australia because you hit Christmas Day before us,
Yep.
and then spread it all the way through till America's done with their Christmas Day.
Well, you'll have the full support of this channel, 100%.
Oh, hell yeah, I know that.
Anything we
I
can
think
do to help
last
with
year
that.
we had 20 streamers doing it between YouTube and Twitch. Now, I don't know as many streamers on YouTube, but I'm going to be contacting some, and I want to try and get YouTube streamers and Twitch streamers both doing the same thing on both platforms at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, whether they're playing games together or not, it doesn't really matter. It's just being the showing the community in both places and saying that if you are alone, here's your space. Come and just chat with us. Even if they're not playing games, they can sit there and just chat.
Exactly.
Like we've done this now, what, an hour and a half, you said?
Yeah.
And you've got 23 people sat here. I think I saw it as high as 36.
Yeah.
You know, and these people have come here today to see you. And that's part of their day that makes them happy. So on Christmas Day, when those people are sat on their own, whether you've got one person in your chat or you've got 100 people in your chat, those people are choosing to come to see you on Christmas Day because they need the safe space.
Correct.
They need somewhere to feel that they belong. And that's what it was all about. And that's why seasonal support streams became my launch into streaming, because I wanted that to be what was connected to me, to show that it wasn't all about making money or being the best streamer in the world. It's about the people that are going to come along.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? Yeah, like I said, if there's any way that this community can help you with, whether it be, you know, I can kick off the stream for you and move it over to you or whatever it might be, I'll be there to help you out, dude. Because
As I say, it'll be spread around. I did an entire organisation on it. People knew who they were raiding straight after all that stuff all day.
Perfect.
So it will be put up. I'll try and remember the site that I used, but I set it up and you just go in and sign up to your slot.
Yeah.
And I did every slot as an hour slot. So you didn't have to waste too much of your Christmas Day yourself. But every slot was filled, so there was always somebody on stream at the time for the people to come to.
That's awesome. It's a really good idea, really good concept, and I'm all about it. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I think next year I'm planning on doing probably 3 or 4 of them over the course of the year.
Yeah, and look, just make sure if you do, just make sure you post it to this Discord. Yeah, just make sure you make sure people know about it, because that's the most important thing. Because like, if people don't know it exists,
they for it last year on Instagram.
They don't look for it. They need to be told where to find it. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people who need it might not look for it or might not seek it. But if you show everyone that it's there and people know about it, they will come and watch. That's what it's all about. And you know what?
Definitely.
It's a crazy world we live in, and you're doing a fucking amazing job at it, man. You know, I really feel like we were meant to meet. Like, I really feel like this is gonna be really good for everyone. And like, the more support we give to each other's communities, and the more support we give to communities like Pulpy's community and communities around Twitch that are doing the right things by everyone in their community, and everything that we're doing, like spreading all this love, we're gonna make the world a better place, mate. And it's just gonna be a matter of time.
Yeah. It's a slow process, but we'll get there in the end.
100%. I appreciate you coming on, bro. I appreciate all the chats and all the love, man.
Yeah.
And
I've been seeing all the nice messages that have been getting put up. I've just not been able to.
That's okay. I think everyone appreciated the conversation, and everyone in here sure does love you, and we're all behind you on that, and I'm going to continue to do what we're doing here and try and make a difference.
I know Peace and Stag have come along, especially for it today.
Yeah, and I appreciate them being there. And it's funny how they both subscribed, because we had a very, very generous donation during the 12-hour stream. So everyone has a sub at the moment, which is nice.
Oh, it's great to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for having me on, Mucker. Just keep doing what you're doing with this community because it's fantastic.
The pleasure's mine, dude. Honestly, pleasure's mine. I'll appreciate it. I'll talk to you
I'll
soon.
see you in chat, man.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Bye.
Wow. Well, what can I say about that? That was something else, chat. That's what a guy. It's crazy to think that there's so many good people in the world, and it's crazy to think that they all exist in this space. And I hope that we can find all of them and bring them together, because I think a lot of people today needed that. A lot of people needed that for not only for self-care perspective, but also I think a lot of people appreciate the conversation because it's very, very raw, you know? So thank you all for coming to the podcast. I really appreciate you all being here. I really do. And thank you for the love. What a vibe. And I think it's only fitting that we play the song